This is the #1 Korean classic horror film named as one of the 20 greatest horror films in the world. Adapted from a Korean folktale, tells the story of a pair of sisters who were tortured to death by their stepmother. Today I bring you a chilling Korean horror movie called A Tale of Two Sisters. The story takes place in a villa in the mountains. A couple of sisters go back to their old house with their father. The older sister named Soo Mi is beautiful and delicate. The younger sister's name is Soo Yeon, so cute and dreamy. The two sisters are always together. Just arrived home, Soo Mi took her sister to the lakeside. Enjoy the cool lake water and the gentle breeze. Soo Mi playfully pulls her sister's hand to see her fingerprints, suddenly fell into contemplation, but after a while, the two happily ran home. What is completely different from the warm sunshine outside is that the house is very dark and quiet. They had just entered the house when they saw a woman come out from the room with a sour voice. It looks like it's welcoming the two sisters back, but there's a hint of bitterness in the words. She is the stepmother of two sisters. After her biological mother passed away, she moved into the house. The two sisters are filled with hatred and fear towards their stepmother, especially Soo Yeon. Catching the eyes of her stepmother, she was scared and hiding. Soo Mi doesn't care about Mi's words. Drags her sister upstairs to her room. The room was still the same, but when Soo Mi was packing her luggage and opening the secret drawer, there was a diary exactly like the one in her hand. Soo Mi was so scared that she froze, then hastily opened the closet door. 10 identical blue floral dresses neatly hung in the closet. Soo Mi was so scared that her eyes widened. Elsewhere, when Mi prepared things for her husband, she discovered that someone had already prepared clothes to put on the front seat. She angrily threw the prepared clothes into the basket. During dinner, Mi suggested that in a few days, she should invite her brother's family to visit. Moo Hyeon didn't reply quickly after listening. Get up and take 2 pills to remind Mi to take them. Because of the clothes, Mi found Soo Mi and said that she didn't need to prepare clothes for her father. But Soo Mi also asked Mi not to mess up her personal belongings and said that she didn't want to eat with her uncle and then left the table alone. Soo Yeon hurriedly followed. At night, Mi diligently puts on makeup and goes to bed with her husband, but Moo Hyeon is indifferent to this. When Mi finished sleeping, she went to her room to read a book and sleep alone. In the middle of the night Mi was woken up by the sound of children's footsteps. She slowly sat up beside the bed. At this time, Soo Yeon also woke up from the bed. The door to the room opposite the bed slowly opened. A hand flickered on the door, causing Soo Mi to panic and rush into the blanket, but a pair of hands slowly pulled the blanket away. Soo Yeon mustered up the courage to sit up, but the room is empty. The little girl was scared and ran to Soo Yeon's room, telling her sister that someone entered her room. Soo Yeon bravely went downstairs to check the situation. Just then, she saw her father sleeping in the living room. The little girl stepped up to put a fur rug for her father. Suddenly there's a noise behind. Mi suddenly appeared in the back and ordered Soo Mi not to wake her father up, and Soo Mi said that she just went downstairs to drink water. The two of them quarreled and then left in anger. Soo Mi opened the fridge and smelled a horrible rotten smell. Only saw something in the fridge that was wrapped in sandpaper. The paper was soaked with blood stains. Soo Mi carefully unwraps the sandpaper. If you look closely, it's a corpse cut to pieces. Soo Mi screams in fear, when she turned her head only to see Mi also looking at her slyly. When their eyes met, Soo Mi understood that this was a crime that Mi did. After going back to her room, Soo Mi hugged the scared Soo Yeon tightly. At this moment, both sisters feel that something is wrong with Mi and this gloomy house. Soo Mi wakes up early in the morning from a nightmare. The girl panicked and looked around, only saw in the dark room suddenly appeared a woman in black. She turned her head slowly. A terrifying white phantom sprang up from the floor, step by step walking in front of Soo Mi. There was also a pile of bright red blood under his feet. A hand reached out from under the skirt. After screaming, Soo Mi woke up from her dream again. Turns out it was just a dream in a dream. At this time, Moo Hyeon woke up and seemed to realize something was wrong. Went to Soo Mi's room to ask, but Soo Mi refused her father's kindness. After she calmed down, she was about to wake up when she saw blood on her right hand. It turned out that Soo Yeon had her period last night. Soo Mi even quietly ran into Mi's room to get Soo Yeon some tampons. Coincidentally, she was caught by her stepmother. Fortunately Mi also had her period on the same day. In the afternoon, the warm sunlight shines into the yard. Two sisters leisurely playing in the yard. The two birds above my head are chirping and chirping. This is Mi's bird. Soo Yeon wants to let them go, but Soo Mi doesn't want to argue with her stepmother because of this, so she doesn't agree. After a while, Dad came out of the room to ask about Soo Mi's health condition. Soo Mi said just throw away Soo Yeon's wardrobe. Hearing this, Dad told them that he obviously told them not to talk about the wardrobe, then apologized to Soo Mi, saying he wasn't a good father, but Soo Mi replied that Dad isn't even a bad dad. After Dad left, Soo-mi went into the dense forest alone. She found an old barn in the trees. The little girl discovered that there was a chest and a leather briefcase in this place, which was filled with her mother's relics. The old family in the photo is so happy and warm. But since Mi appeared, everyone's smiles have disappeared. Suddenly So-yeon burst in. Soo-mi sees So-yeon's hands covered with bruises. Ask her if her stepmother did it. But Soo-yeon kept quiet and didn't say anything. It turned out that Soo-yeon discovered the vivacious bird in the cage had fallen in a pool of blood. This scene was caught at the right time by Mi. Seeing that Soo-yeon wouldn't talk anyway, Soo-mi had to find Mi to question her. Mi said that if she disobeyed, she would have to be punished, and told her instead of holding pictures to miss her dead mother, just accept the truth. Except her this stepmother. She even thinks that Soo-mi is always yelling at her like this. It must be because she hasn't recovered from her illness. This sentence made Soo-mi fall into fear. She threw down the tea set on the table. The sound of two girls arguing caught the attention of Moo Hyeon, who was in the room. But Moo Hyeon pretends not to hear anything. By the time he arrived, there was no one in the living room. Moo Hyeon found Soo-mi curled up in the corner of the kitchen. He wants Soo-mi to tell him everything, but now when facing her father, Soo-mi was extremely disappointed. She understands that even telling her father won't change anything. Dad worriedly said that if you stay like this, you will get sick again. This sentence completely hurt Soo-mi. Mi caused them pain. He didn't even bother to ask. Just assume that this is Soo-mi's subjective thinking when sick. At this moment, Soo-mi completely lost faith in her father. The little girl told her father that all the rotten things happening here came from him. Dad should be responsible for everything. In the evening the uncle's family visited the mansion. Mi prepared a lot of dishes, warmly welcomed. At the dinner table, Mi excitedly recounts interesting stories about her childhood with him, but he showed a disgusted attitude and overreacted. Immediately the whole family fell into embarrassment. Suddenly the aunt's epilepsy kicks in again. The whole body convulsed and fell to the ground, uncontrollable body flipping back and forth. Everyone rushed to get the medicine. After taking the medicine, she vomited yellow liquid. The whole body is like being hit by evil. The eyes keep looking at the bottom of the water tank. Mi, standing next to her, seeing this scene, was so scared that she screamed out loud. On the way home, the aunt said she saw a woman under the water tank. And is that room really like what Soo-mi said? Is there something weird? Mi sat blankly in the living room. She stared at the bottom of the water tank in fear, opened the water tank to check but there was nothing inside. When she woke up, suddenly a hairpin appeared on the floor. Just as she was about to pick up this hairpin, a hand suddenly popped out from under the water tank. Mi was scared and hurriedly struggled, but as soon as she turned around, she saw a girl in a blue shirt standing right behind. The scene changes. Moo Hyeon gives medicine to Mi. Mi panicked, wishing Moo Hyeon could stay. She said that ever since the kids moved in, strange things have been happening, but Moo Hyeon just assumed it was her illness that got worse. At night alone, Moo Hyeon went around the house to check and went into the garden, only to discover a new bird that was dancing happily during the day and died tragically in the cage. The other one did not know where it went. This scene was caught by Mi in the bedroom. She was angry and wanted revenge but was locked in her room by Moo Hyeon. After looking for the keys everywhere, she angrily rushed to Soo-yeon's room to interrogate and saw a bunch of photos placed on the chair, and half of the picture that originally belonged to her was cut off by smeared black ink. Seeing this scene, Mi got even more angry, pulled Soo-yeon down from the bed, dragged it to the ground and stuffed it in the closet in the room. Soo-yeon was so scared that she couldn't stop crying and screaming inside. But Mi told her to apologize so she could go out. In the midst of panic, Soo-yeon chose to accept the apology. However, when Mi opened the door, she saw Soo-yeon in tears. It's crazy that Soo-yeon cried because she was angry at her, then locked the closet door again. At this point Soo-mi finally realized something was wrong. She ran into Soo-yeon's room to save her sister, hugging her tightly. Right now Moo Hyeon is burying the dead bird in the garden. Hearing a strange noise, he immediately went in and asked Soo-mi what was the matter. Soo-yeon, standing next to her, seems to be extremely scared of her father, dodging towards the corner of the wall. Soo-mi blames her father for always not caring about the life and death of the two sisters despite letting Mi bully Soo-yeon. But it's enough for the father who has endured Soo-mi like this. Then he said a sentence that surprised the girl. Soo-yeon is dead. It turns out that Soo-yeon standing next to her is always Soo-mi's personality separated. She always can't forget her sister's death. From her personality, she imagines the image of Soo-yeon. Dad made a phone call at night saying that Soo-mi's condition was getting worse and worse. He couldn't deal with it alone. Want the person on the other end of the phone to come here tomorrow afternoon. Early in the morning Mi pulled a bloody sack to the living room, then used a golf club to repeatedly hit what's in the sack. After a series of screams Soo-mi woke up in the room. At this moment, Soo-yeon Yin's room has been nailed by others and can't be opened. Su Mi ran downstairs and heard Su Yin's cry, then looked for her everywhere, then traced the blood on the floor and discovered the sack full of blood. The little girl touched the sack with trembling, then screaming like crazy, trying to open the sack. Su Mi ran into the kitchen looking for scissors. The hot water that is boiling on the stove makes a shrill hissing sound. At a glance, Su Mi seems to see herself sitting on the table taking medicine just like Mi. The girl didn't think much of it and immediately ran to save Su Yin. But now the sack in the living room disappeared without a trace. After searching for a while, Su Mi found the sack in the closet. Just when she was about to open the bag, it suddenly moved again. Mi quietly appeared in the back, preparing to pour boiling water over Su Mi's body. Su Mi tries to stab Mi with a knife, then push her down to the floor full of broken glass. But who would have thought that Mi would catch Su Mi's leg? Su Mi's head immediately hit the desk, fainting. When she woke up, Su Mi was being dragged from the room to the living room. Her whole body had no strength to move. Mi pulled an adult figurine. After talking to her for a while, I'm going to beat this statue to Su Mi. But at this moment, Mu Hyeon suddenly appeared to save Su Mi. Dad took out the medicine from the room. At this time the person sitting on the sofa has turned into Mi. She pretended to be a duck and asked how is Su Mi. But Mu Hyeon said she doesn't need to show this look and went out the door. Next, a woman in a neat suit entered the room. But what makes people surprised is that this woman is Mi. It turns out that Mi is also Su Mi's self-imagined personality. In her mind, the stepmother bullied Su Yin like that, always tormenting the two sisters. It turns out that the play of the three of them are all stories that she came up with by herself. She tries to forget all the pain after her mother and sister died, but this pain is like a shadow. But the real reason to torment and haunt her has been since the day Mi came to this house. That day, her father took Mi to their house with a bright and dignified Mi. The mother has a serious illness, even though her heart is extremely painful, but can't change anything. At the dinner table, Su Mi gets angry with Mi, but Mi took all her anger out on Su Yin. After Su Yin was bullied, she hid in her room painfully. The heartbroken mother hugged her little girl and cried together. When Su Yin woke up, her mother was nowhere to be seen, but the closet door slowly opened. The little girl came closer to see. Her mother took the suicide pill in the closet. Su Yin can't accept this, so she tries to pull her mother. Unexpectedly, the wardrobe fell down. The loud noise caught everyone's attention, but only Mi went up to check what was wrong. She saw Su Yin under the closet, but she didn't help. She went out the door when she caught Su Mi outside. But right now Su Mi only cares about arguing with Mi. Absolutely do not go up to the room to check, then prepare to leave. Mi grabbed Su Mi's hand and said she will regret this moment forever. But Su Mi is too young to understand what Mi said. No matter how her father called her in the back, stubbornly going into the forest, forever miss this chance to save Su Yin. Then just like what Mi said, Su Mi's whole life regrets that moment. The drama's tragedy from the beginning has been determined. Because of the torment with her sister, Su Mi separated her personality, and in her heart, Mi is the real killer who killed her sister, or subconsciously pushed the cause of Su Yin's death onto Mi. So in the story of her separate personality, she's even more protective of her little sister, and the stepmother is the image of an evil woman. To conclude, it can be said that the director created a lot of scenes. For example, Dad never seems to see Su Yin, and the person he always calls as his stepmother in real life. While at the lake, Su Mi looked at Su Yin's fingerprints and fell into thought because it was clear that there was only one person, so the fingerprint she saw was exactly the same as hers. The ghost in the dream that Su Mi saw was the image of her biological mother, because subconsciously, her mother is also the one who wants to take Su Yin's life. She wants to try to protect Su Yin from being bullied. That female ghost under the water tank is also Su Yin. The hairpin that Mi saw and the hairpin Su Yin wore before she died are exactly the same. The last scene of the movie, Mi died tragically in Su Yin's room. Actually, this is the ending that Su Mi subconsciously thought. She wants this evil woman to receive tragedy. However, the worst person in the most seriously overlooked drama is actually the father. All these tragedies stemmed from him. The father even witnessed the bad thing his stepmother did to Su Mi. But from beginning to end he was always silent. His selfishness led to the tragic end of the lives of 4 women. As the #1 Korean horror film, A Tale of Two Sisters, can be said to be worthy of fame, it also reminds me of a saying, "What's scarier than the devil is the human heart." If you like it, don't forget to click like, share and save. We'll see you later.